Gerard, welcome back. Part one was brilliant. It was great. We got into a lot of things.
Yeah.
Gave me some insight into I Am Motherless, but you started talking about a few things in part one that I think is important to revisit and to draw out some more information, not just because the story is interesting, but I honestly think that from a business perspective, it'll help some people.
Sure.
So, and then there's still so much about you that we need to unpack to really show the other side of what goes into I Am Motherless. So get into more personal stuff there too. But let's start off with, we talked about in the first part a little bit about your success on TikTok and how you blew up.
Yeah.
And then we talked about how you got banned. Let's go into more detail on that, especially from the perspective of, you know, I've got a product that I'm promoting on there that you're actually helping me to get it sorted out on there. And I want to make sure that I don't make those mistakes, whatever the mistakes were. So dive into more detail about exactly how you got banned and how you rebounded from that.
Sure. Once again, man, I enjoy talking with you and learning more about myself through your interview. So this has been great for me as well. But as far as being banned from TikTok, it was something that was self-inflicted. There was a reason why it was self-inflicted. How it happened, I actually took on more than I can handle. And when I took on more than I can handle, I wanted to find a way for it to kind of level out, and it never did. It just kept increasing and ascending and getting, I guess you could say, better for me, you know.
What do you mean you took on more than you can handle? What do you mean by that?
Well, when it came to the amount of orders that I was getting, they needed to be out. TikTok makes you put products out in 3 days. So 220 orders a day for me.
Alone?
Yeah, alone. It got to be overwhelming. So I needed more time. So I needed the bleeding to stop or slow down. It wasn't slowing down. It can't slow down, and it can't stop.
Okay.
So I had to either put myself in a situation where I was going to get violations from TikTok because I wouldn't get the orders out in 3 days.
Within that time frame?
Within that time frame. It has to be stamped at the post office no later than the 3rd day of it being paid for.
Do they offer any sort of extensions or anything like that, or?
They do not.
They do not.
They do not. So even on the weekends, if you don't understand how the post office works on the weekend where they hold products on Sunday, you know, then it could be delivered late. That can be disputed, but it has to be scanned. It has to be scanned at the post office no later than the 3rd day of it being
once you receive the order.
That is correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So you had all of the volume. You said it was self-inflicted. Why was it self-inflicted? Like, what do you mean self-inflicted?
Well, I know if I answer the violations, because you get violations for little things, learning curves. You have to learn how to be productive in TikTok. So you're going to make mistakes. They give you a violation. They want you to appeal it. And then they go ahead and say, okay, now you understand. So getting a violation is not a bad thing. It's more of the algorithm talking to you.
Okay.
Saying you made a mistake, appeal it, and understand that you won't do it again. So with that being said, I took on getting a lot of violations. And I said, how do I make this slow down? It wouldn't slow down. How do I make it stop? I knew that if I would not respond to the violations, the threat of them closing it would increase, which is what happened. So I started following that. I said, okay, I'm not going to answer the violations. I had over 700 customers that joined in, subscribed to me. So I had the
a base, a customer
base.
I
had the customer base. I kind of said mission accomplished. I can handle that. If I get the 700 customers, I can turn them into repeat customers. So my mission on TikTok was complete. That's what I wanted. I wanted to increase my customer base.
You built your list up.
I did build my list up. Now, was I going in there to seek fame and fortune? No, not at all. Because fame and fortune is for me,
It doesn't pay always.
it doesn't, and we're going to touch on that too. I'll tell you a reason why it doesn't pay. But I was happy with the volume of customers that I accumulated. Now it was up to me to start doing the external marketing of, email campaign, chasing, hoping, that kind of thing. And it was a success. So I was banned from TikTok. They said, you have too many violations, which I said, yay. And they said, we're going to have to close your shop, which I said, yay. I had time to breathe and work on those 754 customers. So it was a win-win for me. It may not look like a win for most people because there are a lot of people, Jelani, that don't have a business. They go on TikTok and it's fame and fortune for them. It's their first time ever seeking some acceptance on their business, their new business where they're selling trinkets and little
Yeah, and
stuff.
they don't understand the monetization. Some people think it's just being on TikTok is
Yeah.
what's, the golden ticket, but it's not. That's
And that's okay.
lead generation.
Yeah.
Possibly sales, but that's what it really is.
Correct. So I understood that I was in a different lane. I was already an accredited business where they saw their first time on TikTok bringing them this, acceptance and acknowledgement that they are somebody. I was already somebody. So I had to work on a plan. My plan was to accumulate as many increase my customer base.
Right.
And I did that. So to say I was banned, I never felt like
You didn't take it as a negative. It wasn't.
Not at all.
It was almost
Not at
as
all.
though you knew it would happen. You tried to get as much out of it until it happened.
I knew how much I wanted from it, and then that's when I started my plan of attack.
Okay.
Yeah, that makes sense to you?
It makes perfect sense. I wonder where you got the idea that the list was important, but we could talk about that later on.
You taught me that, actually. Right.
So you got banned. Obviously, the transition for you was maximizing that list of customers that you accumulated.
Yeah.
In order to develop the relationship with them to have the repeat business. How has that been?
It's been 98% great for me. Reason why I say 98, let's talk about that 2%. The 2% was just customers that impulse buy. They go on TikTok with a credit card, and if they like the way you look, they like the way you dress, they're going to buy.
Right.
They want to be part of the community. They're going to buy and be part of the community. My product is not made for everyone.
Right.
So when you have the light-skinned customer buying the product, they don't like it. They just want it to buy. I understand that. I'm the same way. I'm a consumer. I go on TikTok and let me try that.
Right.
However, the one thing that hurt me was most of my customers didn't have good intentions, the 2%. They're scammers.
Tire kickers.
Yeah, they come
trying
on.
to get something for free, return it or whatever.
Right.
Or complain about it so they get credit for it or something.
Well, believe it or not, they try to sabotage their competitors and sabotage people just because that's their wake up. They wake up and that's who they are. It's a real thing where they buy my product and you can't rate a product until you buy it. Okay. So they would buy it and you know that this was intentional because they would leave some of the most horrible remarks that has nothing really to do with your product. It's more of a personal attack.
Right.
So I had to take that, and then I realized, Jelani, the one thing that really pushed me to not want to be on TikTok, was the lack of commitment in the community. Nobody, they pick and choose on who they like. So they would put reviews out on you if you were not part of something, part of their makeup. In other words, the light-skinned people were attacking the dark-skinned people. So So I didn't.
Really?
That's too much control over my business.
Wow.
And you get rated, and TikTok, the algorithm will read your ratings, and they will shut you down if you get so many negative ratings. So that was a thing on TikTok where someone else had control over my, destiny, where I was trying to go. And I thought that was a game I didn't want to play. That was a dangerous game.
Right.
Because if you came on and saw my product and you just read the reviews and you go, oh my.
Probably not.
Oh my, right. But it's alive and it's a thing on TikTok and it's immature, but I had to deal with it.
I haven't purchased anything off TikTok, to be honest. And I'm trying to think, I've purchased stuff off Amazon in the past, and I'm trying to think if I ever looked at reviews on the site. I look for reviews off the site.
I
So
see.
I look
Right.
at reviews, but I don't look for the reviews on Amazon because I don't trust them. Because you can pay for those and stuff, and there's people that you know
That's not
kind of
good.
game the system. So I don't
Yeah,
trust those.
yeah.
I kind of look for like the independent reviews on Pinterest or the other ones.
Yelp.
I just actually literally search reviews of the product and see what pops up, and then I do that. If I'm really looking for a review, but most of the time I know what I'm buying.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
but that's interesting that the reviews could have such a profound effect with TikTok, not with the product, but that they you would think that they would be a little bit more intelligent than that, that they would know people. That's something that people would do.
It's an algorithm, the bot that reads the review. So it's not really somebody that can decipher what's good and what's
Well, even
bad.
with that, they can reprogram the algorithm to
Yeah, true.
account for that. If
True.
they,
Absolutely.
I just it sounds like the Wild Wild West, to be honest. Like it's just so. That
Yeah.
being said, what would you give? What advice would you give to somebody, for example, that they have a new product and they're like, "I'm going to go on TikTok and sell this." What would you recommend? Do live? Just place an ad? Like what would or a combination of both? How would you recommend they get started and sustain it? If their goal is not necessarily to build a list, but they want sales. The list will be the byproduct for them because every sale is somebody on their customer list, obviously, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
what would your advice be to them?
First thing is learn the game of TikTok. TikTok is about building a community, number one. You cannot go on TikTok as an individual and say, I want to run a store because there's so many moving parts to running a store. Number one, you have to get likes, you have to have hearts, you have to have conversation, dialogue, you have to have people engaging. So you have to control that verbally. Hey guys, I need this done. Hey guys, don't forget to do this. Hey guys, don't forget to do that. At the same time, you have to focus on selling your product. So now don't forget my product. Yes, you have your banner, but you want to make sure you communicate to people and show that you know how to run a TikTok shop
Okay.
first. So for anyone that's looking to go on TikTok, I would say study the game of TikTok first, the store secondary, because it has to be more of a habit to where you're selling and you're talking to your audience at the same time.
Right.
How do you do that? It's an art. And once you figure that art, oh, it's game on, baby. It's game on. Now you can do no wrong. And then you have to understand you have to have moderators. Moderators are your bodyguards. They monitor the scammers, the inappropriate language. They keep people engaged. So that's another thing you have to monitor.
Okay.
So it's a lot of moving parts.
And that's if you're live. But if you're
If
just
you're
placing
live.
an ad, that's not the same thing. You're just putting out your ad and that's it.
Yes, sir. That's correct. Yes,
What
correct.
have you done both or just the live?
I've done both. I've done both.
Did you get similar success or did the live work better than placing the video ads? What worked better for you?
No, it's apples and oranges. They work together, but it's a different attack. The live is I'm engaging. With the ads, you're just hoping people watch it and it reaches the right people.
Okay.
So it works both ways. You're covering this end and you're covering that end, and you can do the A/B scenario. Which one works? There's no method to the madness. It's just how it works. Whenever it works.
Okay.
So you will start seeing your algorithms and you will start figuring out, oh, my ads are doing much better. People like me as my video, not a live person. But you start figuring out and understanding where you fit in the TikTok world.
Got it. So moving on from TikTok to other marketing avenues that you probably thought about having, have you thought about any endorsements or using influencers or celebrities to help market the product?
Yes, yes. The affiliates, they find you. That's their job on TikTok, to find the right product to represent, a good product. So I have affiliates. I have people that came to me and said, well, they don't actually come to you. They start promoting you. And you watch them because they're part of your community. And it's up to you to say, hey, would you like to continue being an affiliate? And they're already doing it. So it works out great. It's a win-win.
Right.
As far as reaching celebrities for endorsement, I haven't gone that far yet. I would like to. Would you like to endorse some of my products?
I'm not a celebrity, but of
Well,
course,
yeah.
I use it. It's first class.
Yeah.
I can vouch for that.
Thank you.
I'm
Thank
not a
you.
celebrity.
But no, I haven't reached out. I'm doing okay with what I have. Once again, I'm a one-man team. I have to, tread water slowly. I have to just walk through this game with more sense than just reacting.
How has it been since your band? Are the affiliates all gone as well, or what happened with that with them?
No, my affiliates keep me alive.
Oh, so even though you're personally banned, they can still promote and it can still be sold on TikTok that way.
Now, check this out. The affiliates are promoting my product and have a banner of my store, where to go, my bio, my website, and so forth. So the amount of orders that come from them is perfect for me.
It's manageable.
It's manageable.
But then,
Yeah.
okay, so I'm gonna push you on that. Talk about scaling. What have you thought about? Have you thought about how you're going to scale it beyond you, and what's the time frame for that?
Well, I actually am. It's funny you say that. I have reached a point where I've connected with different business owners on different projects. So they've given me an opportunity to work on something that's more profitable for me, other than the moisturizer. So my attention kind of shifted. So wherever I'm at with my moisturizer company, which is a great position, I have subscribers, I have my customer base, I have over 3,000 customers in my base, I'm good. Another opportunity came and I decided to say, wherever my moisturizer business is, once again, it's manageable.
Right, and we'll talk about that other opportunity because you implied you talked about it briefly in part one.
Yeah.
So we'll get there. But I have a question for you, maybe something you haven't thought about, and if you have, that's great. But given where the moisturizer product is, I Am Motherless is, and you know what the potential is, and since your attention is diverted, obviously, because you're saying the other thing sounds to be more profitable or potentially more profitable, have you thought about just selling the moisturizer company to somebody or a company that can take it to where it needs to, where it not needs, but where it can go, and maybe keep a piece of it for yourself? So you're part of that success. Because if you've got subscribers, I can tell you, the subscribers is what is the value of the business. So even though the sales may not be an exorbitant amount, the fact that you've got the subscriber base, you've got what you can possibly show as the lifetime value of each customer, and that could project what the potential sale could be.
Correct.
Of some or all of it. Have you considered that?
I'm not opposed to it at all. I've done research on if I should, if I shouldn't. Most people, from what I understand, are against selling their babies. And I understand that. But if you do your research, a very smart businessman puts himself in position to sell his company. How he does it with the numbers, that's totally up to him and, the business. But I'm not opposed to it at all. I'm not against releasing the business and allowing it to grow from someone else.
And even if you
Take
sell
it
like
farther.
90% of it,
Correct.
You get to benefit from 10% of what the future owners are going to scale it
It's
to.
how you-
and 10% of something is better than keeping it as to where it is, and it's just trugging along because
Yeah.
your attention is diverted. So just wanted to plant that seed, possibly.
Well, that's actually the goal. I'm looking forward to being in a position where I could possibly sell it one day. I do understand how the numbers would work for me to my advantage, paying me a lifetime.
Of course,
Yeah,
the residual, right? Passive
Indeed.
income.
Indeed.
So let's switch gears for just a moment and start talking about the new thing that you're in. When we first spoke in part one, you talked about the new technology, something to do with sound and marketing and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I know you had a business conference that was coming up after that. It's happened. It's occurred.
Correct.
So I'm interested in hearing about that. But just give us a review of what it is again before you get into what happened at the conference.
Okay. Well, and thank you for asking about the company. I'm really proud of the position I'm in right now and the people that I'm surrounded by who are looking out for my best interests, helping me as an entrepreneur to grow in other areas. I'm 61 years old. I never thought about owning a tech company, Jelani. And as a business owner, we see things, and I saw something that just didn't make any sense.
Okay.
And I said, I'm going to fix it, before I go out of business. I want to do this one thing, and that's marketing. Marketing is big. Marketing is a challenge. Marketing can be depressing. Marketing is a really hard part of the business, can be expensive, So, and the confusing if you don't know your demographics, and a lot of things can work against you if you don't understand marketing. And I just realized everyone's doing the same thing in marketing, and it was backwards. It was chasing the customers after they leave the brick and mortar. Having a brick and mortar, all of my customers were in my email campaign. And I was hoping that they would get the email, hoping that they would click it, hoping that they would go to my website, just always hoping. Okay. That was email campaigns, and I was losing at that game because I'm hoping it would be better and it would never get to pass maybe 3% click rate.
That's
5%.
Not bad.
It's not, no, better than zero.
It's not bad. I'll interrupt you for a moment and share something with you, where I got the thing shared with you years ago about the list. Was one of my mentors used to talk about the problem isn't the marketing with a lot of people. Sometimes the problem is the math. And he would say, if someone's getting a 2% response to their mailing, back in those days, the snail mail or their email, that is all you need. The problem is, if that 2% is generating $10 or 10,000, your problem is the math. And if it's not, you need to, as you say, not be so attached to your baby. You need to either raise your prices or find a new baby that you can charge the 10,000 to the 2%.
Correct.
People try to do the reverse. Well, I got 2%, now I can get to 10%. No. Increase the price or create more value for the 2%, so you're working with that 2% because then it becomes reliable.
That makes a lot of sense.
Math.
Yeah, math. Numbers. It makes a lot of sense. Well, here's the thing with me. One-man show, like some entrepreneurs out here, most entrepreneurs out here, marketing is a whole nother department.
It is.
I can work on the business and in the business, and nothing really gets 100% completed correctly.
As the owner, you need to be working, on the business, not in it.
You taught me that.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. And working in marketing requires my undivided attention more than it does being a chemist.
Right.
Well, I need to be a chemist because I need to formulate and produce my product. But at the same time, I need to market. And it just started getting to where I'm doing okay on the chemist side. The marketing side just has to take care of itself,
And that's the most important part.
That's the most important part.
If the marketing doesn't work, none of the other things matter because
I wasn't able to.
Yeah.
So I realized something has to change, and that's when I said it didn't make sense to me that I'm chasing the customers outside of my store. And when the customers came in the store, the experience was much better.
Right.
The foot traffic was great for me. I had AI videos playing of commercials I made of characters holding my sign saying, I am ashy, I have sensitive skin. Along with AI music that was talking about the customers, that was talking about the vendors that were actually next door to me. I would time my AI music to the customers as they walk by. They go, did that song just say my name? Yes. So I realized marketing is actually done in the moment, in the space, while people have money in their hand, not hoping that they come. So with that being said, I am partnered with this company called ATTG, who embeds tone into overhead speakers, music. Okay. That tone generates a signal to people's phone, let me not say people, customers' phones, and opens up a prompt, which collects data, the customer's data, in exchange for discount, free, for whatever you decide you would like to give to your customer.
Back up for a bit. When you say embedded in speakers, what speakers where?
Overhead speakers and brick and mortars.
So these would be in stores.
These would be in stores.
So this would be somebody
Restaurants.
walking by a store, and if there's a speaker, there's a sound. Do they hear the sound?
They hear the tone. No, it's an inaudible tone.
So they don't hear the tone. So it's sort of like with a Bluetooth
dog whistle.
Okay,
Mhm,
and
yeah.
that transmit the signal to their mobile.
That is correct.
And then, do they have to opt in? Is it something they have to allow, or it's just automatic? How does it?
No, it's definitely opt-in.
So
Displaying-
okay, walk me through it. I'm walking by this store. I'm looking for some new J's for my son for first day of school, and I'm walking by. I didn't really see any, and I'm walking by. There's a loudspeaker. What do I get from that store?
Well, first and foremost, it's like having your own scent inside of Bed Bath & Beyond. When you walk inside Bed Bath & Beyond, you can smell the fragrance. When you walk out of the store, the scent does no longer exist. It's only the experience of the scents when you walk inside the store. It's the same thing with the tone. Once you leave the store, the signal will not attach to your phone.
Oh, so I have to be in the
You
store.
would have to
I have to
be-
walk in the store.
Correct.
Okay, copy
Correct.
that. So if I'm in the store looking at the shoes, I haven't seen the one that I want yet, but that's where I'm receptive to that sound on my device.
That is correct.
Okay, so what pops up on my device while I'm in that store?
Congratulations, you just won a free pair of shoes. Buy two, get one free.
And do I have to click on something to allow it or accept it? What does it look like on my phone?
Yes, it is a call to action to tell you to tap here. And once you tap, you've won. You've won a discount. You're going to receive your discount, or you won this. And you just fill out your name and email and meet me at the counter. So it's total customer engagement. Why is it different? No other platform engages the customer in real time. Everything is after the fact. In other words, most businesses will send you an email and say, bring this code in and show us.
Right.
Well, we got too many distractions today.
I don't save them. I delete. I don't even- I
Exactly.
delete them.
I'm a
not
consumer.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. I did a trial myself, and if I go away from it, I can't find it anymore. and I'm dealing with the next QR code. I'm dealing with the next retail store. So we actually do customer engagement in real time.
Right.
And it's a unique experience that unlike anyone else is doing. We're provisional patent protected. So no one else is allowed to do what we're doing. And we're measuring business results from that.
So who owns that who owns me, that list? So once I click on the whatever I saw on my device,
Yes.
and I've got the discount, you said I've got to put in my data like name and email. What do I put in? Name, email, phone number?
We can customize it to
You can
whatever you
customize,
like.
okay. So whatever I put in, who now owns that list? That store, you, the company, who, what list am I on now?
Well,
Or is it
that's
both.
okay. Now that's a pricing tier.
Okay.
You can opt in as a business owner to have full control and access to
So I
that.
build the list as a business owner.
You build the list.
Okay.
I still will have access because I control the dashboard.
Okay. So as a business owner, I've opted into a particular program where I'm owning the list of the customers and I'm giving the discount, but you also have the customers' data as well.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. What good is it for me? Not as good as it is for you, because now you can start your email campaigning from that.
Okay.
Me, on the other hand, I might decide to give it to sponsors, opt in with sponsors, say, hey, I have a $3,000 list here of customers.
And these are actual buyers because they've taken a discount, which buyers lists are the most valuable list of all. So how is it going from the perspective of how are you getting the businesses? Are you, because you mentioned several times you're a one-man show. Sounds like you still are.
Yeah.
So are you physically going around to businesses to ask them? Are you calling? Are you emailing? Like, what's your process for getting this technology out to the businesses?
This is crazy, Jelani. This is one product where I have to actually show up.
Exactly. That's why I'm asking.
I have to
That's
show
why
up
I'm
physically.
asking.
So check this out. The best way for me to handle this and scale this, you have to have at least 10 to 25 stores for me to even approach you. Because I can't do the groundwork of going to 25 different franchise stores. I need people that have franchises. If it scales with one franchise, then it'll work. If it works here, it's going to work in all your other stores.
Obviously.
Right. So I do a Planet Fitness, Subway, McDonald's, Starbucks, Olive Garden, movie theaters.
How are you doing getting past the gatekeepers? Because obviously these are corporations. So you're not going, are you going in? They're corporations, some of them, and some of them are franchisees. So how are you doing that? You going into the one location and then asking, like, what's the process for that?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that. I go directly to decision makers, and decision makers understand numbers.
Of course. I'm just asking how you
Right,
get into them.
Right. So, Chat GPT, that is. So that gives me access to who I should contact. It doesn't give out chat, doesn't give out phone numbers,
Right.
but just emails. So I contact them and I stay on their butt and let them know that I'm here. And I always get people responding to me the same way. Show me. I want to see what it does.
Right.
And that's what this product is all about. Once you see it perform, then it's an automatic sale. It's a no-brainer.
And this, I mean, we're in September now, and we talked in August. So this literally just started. So I don't expect you have numbers yet that you want to share about how it's going yet.
Well, as of today, I'm on my way to New York to have a meeting with a franchise over there about the product. So today is actually the day one.
Okay.
This is ground
Perfect.
zero.
So I'm going to put you on the spot for day one. So you've talked about having affiliates on the moisturizer side.
Yeah.
And we're doing the show. We're broadcasting internationally. People are going to see it. What if somebody's reaching out to me after seeing this or seeing you and saying, hey, how do I get involved with what he's talking about? Tell us.
Well, actually, to get involved with it is
Meaning to be a customer that can use the technology, or somebody who can make money off of.
I would honestly say if you don't have a franchise right now, you won't be of help to me because I'm just starting out. I have to have proof of concept. So I'm looking at starting out with big numbers.
Okay.
Small retail stores may not opt in because their need is not, their foot traffic is not what I'm looking for. I'm looking for large volume. So anyone that has a restaurant chain, cafe chain, I'm definitely looking to talk with them because I could scale with them. I could save their money. I could save them a lot of money and also help them to make a lot of money.
Okay.
I am not in the business of making money off of you. I'm looking to make money off of the scale. So the amount of subscriptions I get is going to be.
And my
big.
apologies. I guess what I was saying was not so much you making money off of an affiliate per se, but more of the affiliate making money off promoting the technology. Because as you said, you being one person, you can't be everywhere, and it doesn't, serve the purpose for you to meet with the onesie twosies. But what if, there's somebody in LA with a network where they know those type of people? Are you open to somebody like that getting involved?
Not yet, because I do understand that a lot of people don't know what this technology really is about, except me and my partner. So I would love to be a mobile salesman. If they need me to come out and work with different companies and talk with them, I can. As far as anyone else, if they don't see it work, which means if someone in Oklahoma says, hey, I know someone here, you would have to fly to Oklahoma. I would rather do it myself and not have people not understand, even though I just started out. I need numbers in order to really explain it to people.
So I get how it's monetized for the business, obviously, because they're offering a discount for a sale.
Right.
How is it monetized on your side? You're just charging them for the technology, or is it a monthly thing? Is it like a setup fee and then they pay monthly, they pay a percentage? How is it monetized on your side of it?
There's tiers, starter, intermediate, and premium.
Okay.
For one, I have access to over 10,000 songs in different genres, depending on how many hours you want of rotation for your business. If you don't want repeated songs, then you would buy a certain category. That's for you.
So they wouldn't be spinning their music and that they have, and you embed the tone. You would be providing the music content with the tone?
Well, it would make sense for them to come through me because they're still paying a licensing fee with BMI, ASCAP, and SISAC.
Right.
Why would you want to pay the licensing fee and then pay for me to have a tone come in? You're paying on two different things.
Right.
Where I can take that licensing fee from you and just basically embed it into my tier.
Right.
You know, so you're not double charging the customer, or they're not double paying.
Right.
So that's the beauty of it. I take away that licensing fee because the music itself is just noise. It does nothing. You're paying for something that does nothing. And that's what I want to get people to understand.
Makes people feel good while they're shopping.
Well, we do the same thing. We, in turn, we study your DNA, your logo, your colors, your mission, and we create AI soundtracks made just for your business. We talk about your product. We talk about you. We talk about the theme. Do you want relaxing? Do you want exciting? We give you all of that element from a hip hop song. If you 5 o'clock, your crowd is hip hop, young, they come in. Oh, we can add the same element and the same feel because everything is a vibe. So we want your vibe, your DNA to be in that music.
Got it. Yeah. It sounds cutting edge and very interesting. I'll be curious to see. We can meet up again in 6 months and see how it's going from that perspective. But so want to switch to a little bit more personal things, but still related to the business. And here's where I'm going with this.
Okay.
So in the first part of the interview, we talked about how you came up with the moisturizer, the connection between you and your mom, and how that recipe was passed on to you, and how everything was done like that. And that business, anybody watching this and me speaking with you and knowing you as a person can sense the passion. It's obvious. You're really connected to it, and I think, if I may be so bold to say, part of the success is that connection because it comes out of you. And when you're on TikTok, for example, you know that came out of you as well. The new business and the technology, I don't hear a connection other than monetary, which is not a problem.
Right.
You know, this is capitalism. This is where we live in a capitalistic society. It's more about making money. So it's not a problem, but I want to ask you, how are you reconciling that, where you're switching from something that has such a spiritual connection between you and your mom to something that what I'm hearing is just dollars?
So, interesting question. Very good question. The moisturizer, the name of the company is ATTG, Addio Tone to Go.
Okay.
And that's addiotonetogo.com for more information on it. It's actually a vehicle to promote the product of my moisturizer.
Okay.
So in other words, companies who don't have anything to give away, I supply them with the moisturizer. They can offer that as a free gift. So I'm pushing my moisturizer through the Addio Tone to Go. I'm adding value to the customer by exchanging the information for a product. It could be shirts, socks, anything. People love that word free.
So let me stop you. So for example, let's just say I own 5 restaurants, but I'm not interested in doing any discounts for that stuff. You're saying I can still be involved as a business owner where you put it in my 5 shops, but what my customers will be seeing would be a promo for your moisturizer.
Absolutely.
And what do I get as the business owner with the 5 shops, the 5 restaurants, sorry?
Number one, you get that customer list. That's what I could offer.
So even though they're buying from you, you're saying now I have them on my I have their data as well.
Right. You said when the customer's buying from me, or the
right, because what I'm saying is I own restaurants and I'm not doing any promotions, but your product is embedded in my music speakers or whatever.
Right.
And but the promo that my customers are getting are the promotions for your moisturizer.
Right.
So obviously you're getting the customer, even though it's my customer in my location. You're getting the sale.
Right.
What am I getting?
That's something that can be worked out based on the tier that you purchased. I can white label that. Everything is negotiable. This moisturizer is something where you can give a customer for free, regardless of what it is. Like I said, necktie, whatever a plant you can give people. But if I'm going to give away a moisturizer, the customer doesn't know who I am inside of Olive Garden.
Right.
So if I customize and white label that jar to be a Olive Garden product, it's a win-win for them. My job is to supply something for free, which I'm in the business of giving away my moisturizer. We mentioned that before. My mentors told me, you're gonna have to start giving away some things, in order for people to understand what you have, because you have a tangible product. You have something that needs to be tested. You can walk the streets and say here, 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 or you can strategically do it this way.
Nothing wrong with free with a plan. Nothing wrong with that.
Indeed.
So it sounds like the answer to that question is really, this new technology is a marketing methodology to promote primarily your product, the moisturizer, if the businesses that you are soliciting don't have something they want to promote as well. So that's the connection. So it's not like you're abandoning it.
Correct.
To go there. You're
using it as a vehicle as well.
Okay.
So I don't have a problem exposing that. I'm still trying to, promote my other business as well.
Right.
So everything is transparent for the businesses. How do you want to pay for your subscription? And we'll just take it from there. I haven't had my first subscription as of today, but I can't wait to get to New York and find out, which level that they want to start with. So this is exciting.
Good luck with that. I mean, it's always brilliant to have that first one. I've had lots of firsts with things, and you never forget that first. It's always brilliant. So good luck with that. But so you've got the moisturizer, you've got the technology now that you're going to be using to promote it. And let's rewind and back up a bit, going back more personal again, because I know we talked about in the beginning how you came up with the moisturizer and where it started and what you were doing. And we talked a bit about, where you're from, New Jersey, and your dad and whatnot. And I remember you saying one of the reasons that you didn't go that route was because you didn't want to just be what everybody else expected.
Yeah.
But I remember you telling me you did at one point.
I did it.
You did. How did you go from not wanting to follow in the footsteps of your famous dad in the music to actually doing it for a period of time? How did that happen?
The desire to be creative and expose it. It was burning inside of me. I knew I had it. It's in my DNA, and I wanted to jump in the water and see how well I could do. I knew I was going to do well, but how well was I going to do? So it was never a question of me never doing it. It was a matter of when. Well, I was mature enough. I understood being behind the microphone that the groupies are going to come and the distractions are going to be there. The only distraction I had was alcohol. I didn't have the pressure of groupie and women wanting to, be the star of the show and all of that. I surrounded myself around the best musicians, so it became fun and easy for me, and I knew I could do it. I knew I could pull it off.
And so you started. How did it like? What were you doing specifically? Were you doing gigs? Were you doing recordings? What were you doing?
Yeah. That's very, very good, because you're gonna take me back to the very beginning. I was playing in the subways of Chicago.
Oh wow!
I was homeless by choice. I just wanted to isolate myself, and I did that periodically through my life. I lived in 13 different states and 3 different countries where I just traveled and reinvent myself. Well, I became a harmonica player in the subway, making a good living. And next thing you know, I was introduced to the Blues Club in Chicago, Kingston Mines. Shout out to them, and the Mines, the Kingston across the street. And I started playing with the best musicians. I started honing my skills. And my wife called me and said, "You ready to move to Hawaii?" I said, "Sure." I moved to Hawaii, and everyone knew I had a Chicago style playing with my harmonica. So I became the guy everybody wanted in their band. I brought a new sound. With that came my animation, my love for the front of the stage, where I wasn't afraid of the lights. I wasn't afraid of the moment. So people said, "You need your own band. You're good." I kind of knew who I was and knew where I came from. So I decided to get a band, and the rest is history. The best musicians on the island started saying, I want to play behind him. And that's where it started. So it wasn't me really pushing it. It's the musicians that said, we're behind you. And that gave me that courage to go out here and be fearless.
Were they do you think they were behind you because they knew who you were and your lineage, or they were behind you because of just you?
No, they only saw that I was a leader. Every band needs a leader. Musicians just want to kind of sit back and say, tell me what to do, but it's got to be, to where it's productive. Some people just want the power trip. Mm-hmm. I didn't want the power trip. I wanted great sound. And the great musicians saw that. And that's what it was.
Why'd you stop?
Two reasons. One reason, I got too big. It's a big fish, small pond in Hawaii. If you're good, you're going to be really good, and everyone's going to know you. I didn't like that attention. It was too much for me, where I had to put on my shiny suit and shave before I go to the store to get my alcohol, because everyone knew me, from the lady at the checkout counter to the people that saw me walk across the street. There he is. So I couldn't hide from myself. And being an alcoholic, I needed isolation. Here I am, pulling a band, start a show, and I want isolation. Didn't make sense. And secondly, I was losing my wife. I was losing her in the process of all of this fame and partying, I guess you could call it, and nightlife. Mm-hmm. She was there, but I didn't see her. And I said, it's over. And I wanted to, my wife was more important to me than the actual party. Yeah.
So that makes perfect sense. Trust me, I understand completely. But what I want to ask you as a follow-up is, obviously I can sense a love and a passion for music and entertaining. And it's obvious now that we know the full story of how you were on TikTok. Mm-hmm. You weren't the head of a band, you were a solo singer, but you were talking about moisturizer. The connection for me is obvious. Yeah. So that's easy. But have you considered because now you're a different person. Mm-hmm. You're recovering, obviously, and that's to feel very proud about. Yeah. Do you get the sense that, or not get the sense, is there a part of you that feels not a need, but a desire for that expression, even as a hobby?
Well, I love that question, because my wife always told me, of course she hears me and sees me performing on TikTok, and she goes, you were made for TikTok. You're built for TikTok, and TikTok is built for you. So the answer is absolutely yes. It was a perfect marriage, to be in front of that camera. The camera was my friend, and I performed well. TikTok is a performance.
Of course.
Yeah, a total performance. Mm-hmm. And I felt right at home. I felt comfortable. I didn't feel stressed. But let me just say this, Jelani, I really need to say this to people that are looking to go on TikTok. And this is it's not just my experience, it's a fact. My communication with the other store owners in TikTok was every day, all the time. We talk, we DM each other, and we complain, we celebrate. But one thing about it, it is exhausting. I run marathons. I work out. I'm like you. I work out. But once I go on TikTok for 2 hours and you're doing so much mental stuff and physical stuff, I used to pass out right after my TikTok, and I never felt so exhausted in my life. And I thought it was maybe me. I was stressed, but it is. Yeah.
It's obvious. It's one thing that most people don't know. When I point it out to you, it'll be so obvious to you. It'll make sense because you know it subconsciously. The number one, not the number one major way we lose energy is through our mouth.
Ah, okay.
You're talking, you're letting it out, and you're also dehydrating yourself. That's how you lose oxygen is water.
Gotcha.
It's not literally water, but
Yeah.
that's what causes you to get dry mouth and thirsty and whatnot, and get dehydrated. And you're
Yeah.
talking for 2 hours, of course you're going to be drained. You've taken in no nutrients, no fluids, no nothing, and you're just letting it all out. You're letting out your energies. Of course you're drained after it. It's obvious.
I wasn't aware of that, but you probably weren't aware of this either. You cannot consume any liquids while you're on TikTok.
I don't know anything about TikTok.
You cannot
You know what?
drink.
What I know about TikTok is what Wolf, my son, tells me.
Yeah.
He's on there. He's like, Dad, this, Dad, that. It's just that's what I know about TikTok. I know, in theory, all the marketing stuff because I'm a geek and I've read everything. So I know how it works as far as the behind the scenes and whatnot from what data they've made available because I just read it all. But as far as the whole mechanics of it, I admit you're right. I'm not up on it.
Yeah.
I'm not up on it.
It's and the good thing about it is you start building a community, and then from there you can start networking. There's just because someone is on there selling soap doesn't mean that's what they do. They're entrepreneurs.
Right.
What else do you have going on? What else? Who else do you know?
Right.
It's not always I know you. It's always about I know you. Who else do you know?
Right.
And that's the beauty of TikTok. It goes on and on. You can take it as far as you want. And I decided to use it for what I wanted, and I'm good. I'm good for TikTok. It was good for me.
Going back to the performing, though, have you thought about doing that as a hobby? Do you have that need or desire, or what you're doing on TikTok satisfies that need for performing?
Well, now that you mentioned, I proposed a question to me. Making videos, marketing is performing. I do have to be the face of my brand, unlike you. I know you like being behind the brand.
Yeah.
But I want to be in front of the brand, and my performance actually allows me to dive right into it with not even thinking.
To satisfy that need.
It really does. It really does.
That makes sense.
And when I do podcasts like this, I'm very comfortable in my skin as far as talking, being in front of the camera. I don't even notice that there's a camera there. That kind of thing.
Yeah. That's great. So beyond the moisturizer, beyond the technology to promote the moisturizer, what's next, if anything?
What's next? Actually, I'm looking to use ADIO Tone to Go to create enough leverage to where me and my wife can live comfortably the rest of our lives. This business it has legs already. I'm just using it. I'm just a part of it. It's already moving. It's in casinos. It's in football stadiums already.
Right.
So I'm taking it on a smaller scale, which is what they don't want to deal with. So they're
it
saying
presents the opportunity for you, a different market.
correct. And also too, they're not using AI music. They're using licensed music and attaching the tone to it because that's just too much work for them to make one song at a time.
Right.
Well, that's where we come in. We are the tone department. We create this single tone that we turn the music into measurable marketing results.
Right.
That's something that is so unique. And also, let me just say this. Every business now needs at least 2 AIs embedded into their business in order to be eligible for funds, loans, grants. If you don't have AI technology in your business, then it's likely you won't get approved because the money moves faster through AI and that you're exposed better through AI. So they're saying, if you want this money and you're stuck on traditional ways of marketing, it's going to be hard for you to get it. But if you have AI,
I'm very familiar with it, but AI, I use it a lot, consulting with people on it. So I'm really familiar with it, especially as it pertains to marketing. But I'm going to keep you on the personal. And again, I'm going to ask you this question, but if you don't want to answer, it's okay, because I'm one of those people where, if I'm not good at something, or if I don't have a good track record, I'm not going to give you advice.
Yeah.
Unless you want to know what not to do. Okay, so I'm big on not doing that.
Right.
But I want to ask you this question because you've mentioned certain things throughout the conversation in regards to family, in regards to your wife, especially in regards to potentially losing her as you were going through the music situation, and then I know she's well involved on the periphery with the business and whatnot. Do you have some advice for other entrepreneurs from the perspective of how to balance that relationship with family, your spouse, while you're pushing that business forward and not losing what you've obviously stated is most important?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we talked earlier in part one about grief. I can't give advice to everyone about losing their mother because I don't understand the relationship that you had with the mother. I can just tell you how I dealt with grief because I understand my relationship with my mother. Now, when it comes to answering that question, I don't know the relationship of everyone that I'm giving advice to. So I really don't know how to give advice. I can just tell you my story, and hopefully you can grab something from that and say, I can add that to my, way of thinking and dealing with my spouse or my significant other. But as far as balancing that, I wouldn't include a spouse into the business.
Okay. Why not?
Because there's certain hats that you have to wear in business versus being a husband. If I'm being a husband, I'm the boss. When I'm home, she's the boss. Sometimes that gets confusing. The wife is usually running the show, and she can actually just interfere with you because she runs on autopilot as a woman, as a mother, as your wife, to make sure that you're doing things correctly, but they're not business smart. So now
Not everyone, not all, some are, but yes.
But yeah, some. And once again, there you go. I'm speaking from my...
From your perspective, exactly.
Yeah. So me as a business owner, knowing my business, understanding, building the business, my spouse cannot come in and tell me what to do. She didn't build it with me. She doesn't understand it. She just wants to see me do well. Well, doing well and making business decisions is two different things to me. I understand you mean well. And most spouses mean well. But are they involved in the business? If they are, then what I say is me.
Right. Now, I understand completely what you're saying. It's different roles, different relationships, different situations. And I got nothing. I got no advice for anybody on that. I'm not even going to pretend to say. What I will say is this. I was telling you off camera that one of the things I learned was I've been alone for too long. And not a lonely person, but alone to where I operate a certain way where when people were getting close to me, my wife, my son, I felt encroached on, like what's going on? I realized, wow, you've been alone too long. You've been operating alone for so long that you lack the really good skills to integrate with other people in your space.
You're such a geek. You're such a geek. Yeah.
And all praises due for my baby boy, man. I mean, he's 12. He's not a baby, but he was the one that helped me to learn that lesson because he was following me around, and I'm looking at him going like, what are you doing? He's like, Dad, what's the problem? I just want to be around you. I'm like, why? I'm not doing anything. I'm working. He's like, yeah, I'll just sit here. And he literally sits in the chair in the office and just hangs out. And I'm thinking, like, is this normal? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
I couldn't tell it. And I say all that to say about the roles where, like, even with Lonnie, like, she's not involved in the business in my business at all, or my work at all. And it's because I've been alone for so long, I operate everything a certain way. Like, even with my assistant and my virtual assistant, I operate everything a certain way to where if she was involved, I wouldn't know how to handle that. Just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Because I couldn't delegate to her, for example, the way I delegate something to my assistant. Not that I speak a certain way. I'm the same to everybody. I think you know that. Yeah. But I speak to Lonnie a different way than I speak to my assistant. It's just different. You know what I mean? So I understand what you mean when you say the roles that you have as a husband as opposed to the business owner and not having them involved unless you built it up together.
Correct.
Because you know my history. I was in a situation like that where I built something from scratch with a person and I wouldn't do it again because we ended up just being friends and partners and not really life partners.
I gotcha.
you know.
Right.
And for some other people it works. You know, I've seen stories of other
Sure.
people it works to each his own. So I get what you mean by not talking to everybody, just telling your story.
Correct.
Well, you know, it's a lot you've got going on. You've got the lots of things happening with the moisturizer and the new sound technology for marketing it. I'm not going to ask you what else you're going to do because you probably shouldn't. You should
No,
probably
absolutely
focus
not.
on those two things. is all you
Then
should
I would be
doing.
alone like you because I would have to isolate myself, from the world.
Yeah.
And I understand when you say being alone, it's lonely at the top first and foremost. You're doing great.
And I felt bad, just to be clear. I felt bad in that
Sure you
moment
do.
when I
Sure.
felt that because my baby boy, he's my boy.
Sure.
And like, why? Wow, it was just weird.
Right. Right.
You know, because I mean, you know, he lives in Europe with his grandparents or whatnot. So I only have him in the summer when I'm here in the U.S. But so that's why he's not around me all the time. But man, it was just I felt bad.
Right. Right.
It wasn't a good feeling that wow, I've been alone for too long. It's great. No, I felt like this sucks. I need to be with humans. Like that's like it wasn't. But to be fair, I didn't realize that it was a problem.
Sure. Absolutely.
You know,
I understand.
I'm not unhappy. I like it. You know, but I realize it's a problem because we live in an interdependent world. People focus on independence, but the real thing to focus on is interdependence.
Yeah.
Because what my dad said to me once, he says, look, you don't need people, but you need people. And what he said was, people turn up the volume of your life, of everything you're doing. And what he said was, from this perspective, he said, listen, if you're watching a funny movie by yourself, it's funny, right? And you're laughing and it's great, isn't it? I'm like, yeah. He said, how much funnier or more fun it is if you're watching it with your friend and you're both laughing. So you didn't need him because you were watching it alone and it was funny.
Correct.
But
Right.
he's there now. The experience is amplified. He said that's the secret to interdependence. People turn up the volume of your experience, negatively and positively.
Correct.
You've got to be careful, he would say. But I realized I've been on the independent side for so long. Even when I was with other people, I was. It was not a good thing.
Now, I would have a problem if you weren't being whatever we call successful, but you're very successful at what you're doing, and
But you're very
have a
kind.
problem of isolation or loneliness, and I understand what you're saying, but you don't see what I see is that I think you're doing quite well with this loneliness.
Well, it's gone now, thankfully, because I have, Wolfie with me pretty much all the time now, and Lonnie, she's always there. So,
Right.
I'm not alone anymore. It was just that I learned that this summer because they were both with me at the same time. Before it wasn't Lonnie and I. We're doing our thing. And,
Yeah.
And then Wolfie comes, and so this was the first time there was all three of us, and I was like.
Right, gotcha.
So that's where that epiphany came from. So, but Gerard, again, it's been brilliant chatting with you. Thank you so much for doing this. We're probably gonna have to have part 3 once this technology takes off. But I really appreciate you taking the time. It's been great.
I see it coming. I see a part 3 coming. I would love to sit and talk with you again.
Absolutely. Thank you so
Appreciate
much,
it.
brother.
Thanks again, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
All right.